everybody. Welcome to the Triple B Experience podcast. This is Unscripted. I am Gary. This is Cable. And last but certainly not least, the man, the myth, the legend. He's not here. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe stretching.
Oh, stretching. That'll do that to you, I've heard.
Pooping.
Probably.
He's definitely pooping. I know that.
He's probably watching us while he's pooping, which is,
you know, I don't know. He's one of the 3 people that are actually watching us right now. But anyway, long story short, no, in all seriousness, it's Cable and I today. So it's 2/3 of the tripod. So we're a little limp today. We're leaning to the left a little bit.
Nickname us Eileen.
Well, we're off to a good start.
There we go.
But no, in all honesty, Bubba couldn't be with us tonight. He's a little under the weather. So we're a little worried about him. Hopefully he's okay. Bubba, you will be missed for sure on the podcast tonight. But he said the show must go on. We offered to switch it to a different night or even skip this week, but it was his decision to let us go. So this is the 3rd week in a row now that it's been 2 out of the 3. I was on vacation for 2 weeks there. I was 10 days in Disney, but I'm back. Can't say that I'm refreshed, but I'm back. We had a great time. I'm now officially a Jedi, so that puts a smile on my face. But we'll save that story for another night. But Cable, buddy, it's good to see you. What did I miss?
A whole lot. Nothing groundbreaking, nothing world-ending, but you know what we specialize in: trivial shit that most people don't care about. Yeah, a lot of it went down.
Yeah, and you know, I noticed the 2 hours the first week, the 1 hour the second week. You know, it was the inmates running the asylum, so to speak. But no, and in all honesty, I don't care that you went 2 hours, but I promise you nobody's listening for 2 hours. So just gonna put that out there.
I mean, that's the story of my life. I talk and nobody listens. I don't know any other way.
I guess that's true. But I will say this. Everybody picks on me about the stopwatch, right? But I'm doing it for the better of the podcast. There's proven facts to show that, you know, the sweet spot is 22 minutes to a half hour. You get people on their commute, get people in the back from their commute. So, you know, I compromised and I said 45 minutes. Let's do it within 45 minutes. That is my story and I'm sticking to it. I don't mean it to be a, you know what, I just do it to help the podcast. Oh, hey, Craig, what's up, man? Good to see you.
Hey, man.
But yeah, no, it's glad to be back. So any news, or actually, I'm sorry, I missed some of my taglines here. I'm a little rusty. I said it once, we'll say it again. We're not just another podcast, we're an experience, but let's get into it because we've got shit to say. I think that covers all of it, right?
Sure does.
Again, it's been a minute, but I'm back. I'll get in the swing of things. Cable, any news or headlines this week? I feel like there was a lot of stuff packed into this week.
There was. Yeah, it was a very busy week. We started the week off with good news for the Batman. It did good numbers, good money over the weekend. It was the second biggest pandemic opening after Spider-Man No Way Home. Mm-hmm. A lot of news about the post-life of that movie. There's talk of at least one sequel, but possibly a trilogy. They did confirm they put a full series order out for a Penguin prequel TV series that's going to air on HBO Max with Colin Farrell reprising his role as the Penguin. They were originally, when they started this whole thing, they wanted to do a show about the Gotham police department. And it was going to be, you were going to follow one Gotham police detective, and he was actually going to be, from his point of view, as a corrupt Gotham police detective. And that started to change, and they remolded it, and it's looking like it's going to be a show based in Arkham Asylum, which is awesome.
Yeah.
That's exciting. And then we went from that to some Marvel news. Disney had an investors meeting, which that was when the Obi Wan Kenobi trailer dropped. They showed the Thor Love and Thunder trailer to the investors privately. We didn't get to see it because we're a bunch of schmucks. Yeah, but that typically means the trailer isn't far off from release when they show it to like higher ups and the brass and everything. Some merch leaked out, giving us the first good look at She-Hulk. They confirmed Miss Marvel will be the next Marvel TV show coming out in June. And we got a bunch of DC movies moving around. They postponed a bunch to next year.
And do we ever get an explanation for that?
They are kind of going with a blanket statement that COVID delayed like the digital effects end of the movie.
Okay.
And they're still working on visual effects. Who knows? It's DC.
COVID's been a thing for 2 years now. It's like we should just be prepared for this, right?
Yeah.
It's not like the heart of the pandemic at this point, and they know it's a thing. So let's plan ahead a little bit.
Yeah, especially The Flash has been in production for like 2 years now or something like that. I mean, Spider-Man No Way Home got it done.
Yeah.
And they knocked it out of the park.
Yeah. Even the Book of Boba Fett had a lot of issues with that. Rodriguez said that there was a lot of things that they couldn't accomplish, but they did the best they could. But that was actually, filmed in the middle of it. And it turned out pretty good. So it's just
all things considered.
Yeah, it's one of those things that it's a part of life now. Let's plan for it and be prepared a little bit. But
so
what else? Anything else? Revolution came and went, and you guys did some predictions, I believe, last week.
And I don't remember any of my predictions, so that's not going to be very useful tonight.
Yeah, I guess not. Unfortunately,
I wrote them down, but I don't feel like going and getting them. So
no worries.
One last bit of news, actually. Sure. Breaking as of like 2 hours ago, they finally made some official announcements on Deadpool 3. So that is a real live thing. They named a director, they named writers, so it's going forward.
Who's the director?
I can't think of his name, but he's worked. He did Free Guy.
Oh, okay. I didn't watch that yet, but
it's good. I'd recommend that. It's on Disney Plus now too.
Right.
And I can't think. Is the movie Ryan Reynolds made right after that? It's on Netflix. It's a Netflix original. It might not even be out yet, or it might come out this weekend.
Okay. I was gonna say that's not the one with The Rock, right?
No, it's like a time travel one. I cannot think of what it's called, but he did both of those with Ryan Reynolds. So,
gotcha.
Yeah, they must like working together, and
probably
it'll be a good pairing.
I could see that. It's like The Rock and Kevin Hart. You know what I mean? It's like that brotherhood.
When you find somebody that you click with, you just click with them.
Exactly. Yeah.
Whether it's a kid with his lunchbox over his middle two fingers, giving himself the mandible claw, or whatever.
And it's just one of those things that you bring them along with you no matter what you do. Obviously, that's why we're both here.
Apparently
whether it's Bubba reeling me in for stuff or me reeling you in for stuff, it is what it is. But Craig said, what color is your saber blade? So good question. Thanks for asking, Craig. I went with green. I sometimes tend to be a traditionalist, but the main reason I went with green, well, actually 2 reasons. For Christmas, my wife got me a wedding band that has a lightsaber on it and happened to be green.
I did not know that.
Yeah. So
that
was cool. It was a really cool gift. And then whenever we had the artist draw up the picture of the 3 of us, where the 2 of us were on horses and the other one was on the jackass. We know which one was on the jackass. The artist just happened to make it a green lightsaber. So I'm like, I think I got to go with the green lightsaber. However,
it was a sign.
It was. And actually my son kept telling me to go with green too. So I went with green. And however, they do make other kyber crystals, which you can buy. So I also bought a blue and a red so I can swap out the colors. It must be Bubba on here for the Triple B experience. Hi, Bubs, if that's you watching. But yeah, the Adam Project is the movie. Thank you. See,
that's the name of it.
He's still with us while pooping on the toilet.
Thanks, Triple B experience.
Yes, Triple B experience. Thank you for correcting us on the Triple B experience. But no, Bubs, in all seriousness, again, I don't know if you caught everything, but we do hope you feel better. We miss you. Keep us in the loop. Let us know if you need anything.
Yeah. Get well soon, brother.
I'm sure he'll correct us on something else by the night's over too.
What would be really good is if he tried to correct us on something, and like what happens usually we end up correcting him. So the Triple B Experience Live is correcting the Triple B Experience comment. That's kind of like a full circle.
Or we could just ignore him and not show it at all. You know how much he loves to be ignored. Mr. Triple B himself, the king of the spotlight, right? But anyway, let's break into a couple of these headlines and topics a little bit. First, let's go with Batman.
Yes.
So I was away, like I said. I think you and Bob saw it first. You went and saw it. I told myself before I got home, I said, I need to go and see that movie somehow, some way, before we do this podcast. I don't want to hold you two up on topics again. It's not always easy for me. My life is extremely busy. However, I was able to squeeze it in. So I went to the theater, and it was kind of late. I think I went to an 8:30 showing, and on my way, I text Cable and I text Bubba. I said, I'm on my way to go see Batman now, which I thought would be really great because we could fit it into this podcast. And then Cable texts me, it's a long one. It's 3 hours, which I didn't know. And I'm sitting there, I instantly regretted it. Right. So I'm like, shit. So I stopped at the convenience store on my way, and I picked up some Skittles because I figured I'll have popcorn, I'll have my icy, my traditional, but you can only eat so much of that stuff. So if I have some Skittles, if I'm eating them slowly, it'll help keep me awake. So that was my plan, and I stuck to it. Worked. I think I only dozed off for a few minutes, but it wasn't long. But before the movie started, I'm sitting in the theater, mostly by myself. There was a couple other people. There was a couple a little bit yonder that were fighting, and then the guy ended up crying in the middle of the movie. I don't know what's going on. But anyway, weird situation going over there. But I was sitting in the theater, and I'm sitting there thinking to myself, like, I kind of got emotional because I remember seeing most of the other Batmans, with Danny DeVito being the Penguin and stuff, like, as a kid. And I went to see them with my dad, and I remember going to the Regency, the mall, the theater that was in the mall. I don't know if you remember that.
Oh yeah.
Which my aunt worked at the time, when she was young, and my dad used to take us there. And I remember seeing those Batmans in theaters, and I'm sitting there thinking, I'm like, this is really cool. Like, I'm glad to be back. I'm glad to, get to see a Batman again. I hope this doesn't suck. And after 3 hours go by, I text you both. I figured you'd be sleeping, but I'm like, well, I'll just text them and see. Is there an ending credit scene? They're kind of.
Yeah.
I mean,
sorry, I wasn't awake to.
No, I get it. Trust me, I wouldn't have been either. But yeah, kind of. But that was kind of a waste of time. Though
I didn't even stick around for it.
No, you didn't stick. Well, you didn't miss much. You could just watch New Rockstars or something, and shout out to them. They're great. He's great.
Yeah.
Eric's boss is the man. But he breaks things down perfectly. But yeah, overall, I really enjoyed the movie. I did. I wholeheartedly like, and it has nothing to do with, it has nothing to do with the fact that, or who played Batman per se. I liked him with the mask. I thought he was a lot of times kind of extremely annoying without it. And maybe it's not his fault, but it's the way that they made him look in the movie, and like the looks on his face, and he just looked like he was strung out, to put it. You know what I mean? Like, the look on his face just looked like he was strung out. Like, so that kind of was annoying to me. And it was 3 hours long, but other than that, I really enjoyed it. I thought it was great. Like, it felt more like Marvel-esque kind of movie, to where they're making you think. I'll be honest with you. There for a while, I was questioning the fact, like, am I an idiot or something? Because some of this stuff that happens in these movies, I don't catch on to every nuance that's happening until I talk to you, or sometimes Bubba, or if I'm looking up stuff online, and then I'm like, oh, okay, I get that now. But I'm not so far into the weeds where I'm going to get it right away a lot of times. But overall, like, it made you think. It felt a little more like Marvel-esque in that sense. However, it's darker than a Marvel movie would be, for sure. But that's always the mystique with Batman, right? They had the dark characters, and I think we said this before in some of our superhero reviews, that, like, That's what's great about Batman, because it was the opposite of what we're used to with Marvel. And you got that like sick Joker, and you got Penguin, and you got the Riddler. There's so many cool villains. Like, he has some of the coolest villains ever, in my opinion. So it just seemed like it was done right. I liked it. I really do. What are your thoughts?
Well, I loved it.
Okay.
I'm going to start tearing off clothes like a Ric Flair promo.
Oh, you jump on that couch like Tom Cruise.
Absolutely. I give it a 10.
The 10. Oh, no shit.
Yeah.
Okay, 10.
No,
right. Nice.
I absolutely love this movie. It, everybody watches the show every week. They know that as a collective, we are definitely a Marvel leaning group.
Yeah, right.
And that's not to say we hate DC. I really enjoyed Shazam and Aquaman, and of course the Dark Knight trilogy, and whatever. But they just don't knock it out of the park nearly as often as Marvel does.
Yeah. And
they don't seem to have a very good plan.
No.
But that being said,
there's no world building involved, right? Like, they're not thinking 5 steps ahead to say, let's try to do this, right?
No.
And then what really was cool was the animated series that I didn't know anything about, that you said via our text, right? So they are planning ahead, it seems. So that's what made it feel more like a universe feel, and it honestly, it had nothing to do with Robert Pattinson. It had nothing to do with him, Edward or whatever from the vampire or whatever he was, werewolf, whatever he was. I didn't love the look of him without the mask again. And then the only other thing, before I let you finish your thought, that I didn't love about it was the flying part, where he was flying like in the weird, like, I don't know.
It was wingsuit. Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that, actually.
Did you really?
I did. Yeah. Cause that's technology that actually exists in today's world. And, the movie was set 2 years into him being Batman, so he doesn't have it figured out yet. Yep. And I thought
that was awesome. That was awesome, because they made a lot of mistakes in that.
Uh-huh.
So again, when they're planning ahead, this is from the timeline. Like, he's fairly new at this. He's not the world's greatest detective at this point, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, and I've never watched. Believe this if you will. I don't know why I would give vibes off otherwise, but I've never watched a Twilight movie in my life, and he's got a stigma around him because of that, and he's aware of that. He walked away from acting for a while, and he said that he's not exactly proud of his Twilight period, but he's been climbing back into acting, and the roles I've seen him play in that are more mature, he's a very strong actor, and I liked his Bruce Wayne, in that we didn't get a lot of it. Like, it's probably good 85-15, of him being in the suit. And it made sense from a story point, and he says it in the movie, and, you can come to your own conclusions. He's so young at this still that he doesn't know he can make a difference as Bruce Wayne. So he doesn't have any interest in being Bruce Wayne, and spoilers, this will be a spoiler talk for anybody that hasn't seen it yet. But, at the end of the movie, the Riddler tells him that the bat mask is his true identity. It's not a mask at all. That's who he really is. And that's always been a part of Batman. And, the movies may or may not have portrayed it in a good way. But typically, one of the core elements of Batman is his Bruce Wayne persona is just that. It's a persona. Yeah. And as he matures, he'll figure out that he can do good for Gotham as Bruce Wayne, not only as Batman. He's got funds, he's got this legacy, which they really harped on. And at some point, he'll realize that he can do more for Gotham and all its people out of the suit. So I liked how they did that. Loved the whole cast. I thought everybody did great. I forgot John Turturro was in it, playing Falcone.
Okay, right, yeah.
And John Turturro is an amazing actor, and sometimes he can do over the top, and it's hilarious. And he hit the tone exactly where it needed to be. Yeah. Obviously, Colin Farrell, dude, killed it as the Penguin. I mean,
yes. I didn't even realize that was him.
Yeah, if you don't know it's him, you don't know it's him. Yeah.
I was so down on the fact, like, I'm like, I don't know about this. I have to see it, right? But I didn't like actively like anticipate the trailers to come out or anything. I didn't look into it at all. I went into it blind. Didn't even know it was 3 hours. I knew none of that. So I didn't know it was him.
Yeah.
I had no idea.
I liked Catwoman. I thought she was great, even, she's very comic accurate to modern Catwoman comics, how she's depicted. I love Jim Gordon. Jeffrey Wright, which that's the Watcher, you may or may not know. He killed it. I love their relationship in that movie because they don't know each other yet either. Like,
right. Paul Dano, I believe his last name.
Yes,
played Riddler.
The Riddler.
That was awesome. That was a really cool performance. Like, this is the fact that, like, it's always that quiet, dorky one that you're not really, you got to watch for, right?
It's a very realistic portrayal.
Yeah, it's like this sick, twisted dude,
especially with the way the internet is.
Yes, exactly. Like, I thought that was perfect. It couldn't get any more perfect.
Yeah, because good.
And then, at the very end, again, spoiler, with what we're assuming the unseen Gotham prisoner, right? But Barry, I'm drawing a blank on his last name.
Kroger.
Yes, but he played it. He played in Eternals, right?
Eternals. He was Druid. Yeah.
Which, looking at him, I'm like, oh, dude, he could have a smile that could be a great Joker smile, right?
Yeah.
Like, he has that,
I was surprised to find out that was him because he's been in a few things. He actually acted. He was in a movie with Colin Farrell, and it was like an indie movie, and he was in Dunkirk. That was I think that was his breakout performance, which that had a lot of people in it. A lot of Batman people. Christopher Nolan made it. Tom Hardy was in it. Cillian Murphy. And he always, and like, just like those movies and Eternals, he always plays a more like subdued kind of monotone.
Right.
I think he was in the Chernobyl miniseries also, but that's just what he always plays. So when I found out that was him, that was like laughing hysterically in Arkham, that blew my mind because I've never seen or heard anything like that out of him. So,
yeah. And again,
I'll be interested to see.
He kind of looks like more of a modern Joker too. Like, he has like the kind of like wild spiked hair. You know what I mean?
It was like big and curly. And it was like sticking out. I like that. Yeah, we've never seen that. And when you've had 16 different Jokers now, you got to find a way to separate them, hopefully without face tattoos.
It's either long or slicked back or
So
I thought this was a cool take. I'm excited to see him in the light. And I can only imagine, but you can tell they're setting up for more. They're setting up more of a universe kind of approach. Do you think they're on the right track now?
Oh, I absolutely do. Yeah. The way they hit the tone and everything, it tells me that they've let this director, Matt Reeves, who has done, he did Cloverfield. He did the first Cloverfield. That was like one of his first movies.
Yeah, Future Shock. He did
a couple of the Planet of the Apes remakes. He did
which
were very good.
Yeah, Dawn for the Planet of the Apes
and War for the Planet. Yes.
Right. He did Let Me In. He did Homicide, Life on the Street. He did a ton of stuff. He did a bunch of stuff.
And that tells me that they let him carry his vision. Because who would have ever thought we'd get a 3-hour Batman movie?
Right.
And then, and
within that 3 hours, we didn't even they alluded to it, but we didn't have to see the murdering of Bruce Wayne's parents.
We didn't see that.
Which I was ecstatic about because
I was too. And this is something that we've only seen once, but in Batman Begins with Christian Bale training, we didn't see that. And I was also happy we didn't see that, even though we've only seen it once. Not as many times as the parents dying. We didn't need to see that. Like, I like the placement of this being his second year. He's into it, but he doesn't have it all figured out yet. But there's so many things in it that wouldn't be a typical Batman thing. Like, it's 3 hours long, but it's a slow burn, more or less, 3 hours. It in a good way, it fills the movie. The atmosphere and tone are so heavy. You got Nirvana playing in it.
Yes, that I wasn't
That
expecting.
was good. Yeah.
And it fit perfect.
It did. It was amazing. You have the first time ever that Batman has narrated a movie. Like they've never done that. So all these different things that made this movie separate from everything that's done before. And there was a article I saw a headline for. I don't know if it's true or not, but they test screened the movie with a test audience at 2 hours long. And the test audience actually liked the 3-hour version more.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, which is surprising to an extent because that's a long time to sit in a chair. I was sore till the next day. I was. My seats weren't very comfortable. But that also cuts into its money because the longer the movie is, the less you can fit into a day. And that's absolutely a metric that the movie studios look at.
Yeah.
They 100% pay attention to that. And the fact that they went with what the test audience liked, I think is a good sign.
That's being human-centered for one, which is great. I like that. But not only that, knowing that you could possibly lose money with this, DC just needs to get it right. They don't need to worry about the money per se. I get it. Everything's dollars and cents, but they just need to figure out the way to get it right. And if you're getting it right and the fans wanted 3 hours, give them 3 hours.
Absolutely.
So kudos to them. Hopefully they're on the right track. Let me ask you this. In your opinion, is it the best Batman movie ever?
Yes.
Okay.
For me, undoubtedly. I thought about it for a little bit. When I came out of it, I was like, it's giving Dark Knight a run for its money. Yeah. But I was excited because I just walked out of it. You have that new movie excitement, especially DC coming out of a DC movie and being thrilled with it. That's just a little bit more of a rush. So I waited for a few days. I kept thinking about it, and it was marinating on the brain up here. And it's been 5 days since I saw it now, and I've come to the conclusion I think the newness wore off, and for me, it is the best Batman movie ever. How about you?
I really like Christian Bale. I do. And I love that. Those movies were great to me. Again, but I think the storytelling within this one is what really puts it over the top. Again, it just didn't feel like a one-off to me. It felt like they were building something bigger. They started getting some things right with Wonder Woman. However, I feel like they lost momentum along the way. Yeah. And maybe that's partly because of the pandemic too. But in order for DC to get it right, they needed a movie like this, and I think they nailed it. So for that reason, I honestly think it is. I will chime in on Bubba's opinion here. He thought the movie was okay. The fighting scenes were way too dark for me, and the ending wasn't really something in my eyes.
I wish he was here.
The darkness of the fight scenes is probably just because you're getting old.
I did have a little bit of trouble with it, but I more or less could tell.
He was right.
Yeah,
it's dark.
Yeah. But it didn't hinder me much, and I'm sure a lot of people notice this with me. Maybe when I'm excited about something, I have the ability to overlook flaws that maybe I shouldn't overlook.
This is something that we really haven't talked about on this podcast because we can be critical of things. However, yes, we can be critical of things. The thing of it is, I don't go into things looking to hate them. Right. I want to enjoy things. I want to take them for what they are. I want I want to suspend my disbelief. Right. I don't want to hate WWE. I don't want to hate things. I want to enjoy them because these are the things I look forward to in my life. So I try to go into them with an open mind. If I walk away and scratch my head and say, I just didn't like that. I just didn't like it. I don't want to hate things. So to me, I wanted to like the movie. There were some things that, I'm like, I don't know about this, but I'm going to go into it open mind. I wanted to see it. And it was funny. My seats were great, by the way. I had the seats that, it's a luxury. I wouldn't call it a luxury theater, but the seats it's renovated. It's a little bit nicer. It's one of the theaters that you actually have to go and pick a seat. You can't just But anyway, it had the nice seats that folded back and stuff like that. But it's not like the ones that you're paying for like the over the top like sound and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But let me tell you something. When the Batmobile, which is basically just a muscle car, right? When they was revving that engine, I felt it in that seat.
Yeah,
and I was like, "Holy wow!" Like there was just a lot of emotions for me that night for a lot of reasons. Like I said, just memories as a kid going with my dad, and then feeling it. I felt that movie because for whatever reason, I wasn't in the last row, the makeout section, or anything, because I went by myself. Not that I'd be in the makeout section, even if I went with you. Well, maybe.
Yeah,
maybe. But
hey, don't count that out. We don't. But we don't know.
But I was in the movie in front, or the seats in front of it. And now you got me all flustered.
That's how I'm gonna trim your pants off. Then we go to the back row.
I was in the second to last row, and I felt that muscle car, man.
I'm glad you brought that up, because that was a whole nother character almost to this movie was the sound design. 11 months from now, you heard it here first. I'd be shocked. I'll say it this way, I guess. I'd be shocked if this wasn't up for an Academy Award for sound editing or sound design. Because
do you know who did the score?
I don't.
But dude, did you? And I felt, and this is another thing I wanted to talk about. I noticed it in theaters, and I don't notice stuff like this. I'm a music guy. I love music, but I don't notice stuff like this. But when the Batman score came on, did you notice what it sounded like?
Well, I heard elements. There was one part of it where they took something in the way and carried that even when it wasn't something in the way. They made that a part of a score, but I don't know. I don't think that's one you're talking about.
This is when, like, the score for when Batman, like, entered, when he came into that scene with the guys with the paint on their face and stuff like that. And a lot of the times when he came into the scene out of the shadows, right? It sounded like do 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 do, but it was a slow, methodic. But go back and listen to it, and and trust me, I recognize that. Obviously, Star Wars mark, but I recognize. I'm like, that sounds like the Darth Vader score, like the theme, the
Imperial March.
Yeah, and then whenever I was watching some other videos, they called it out too. So it wasn't. I did
not even notice that.
It's a thing. You go back and listen to it. It was awesome. It was really cool. And for me to notice that's something. Especially late at night. I'm sitting there at 1:45 midnight watching the thing. But yeah. Hey Shane, what's up, man?
Hey. Like you mentioned, we'll get off of this topic here because we got at least one other big thing to talk about. But
yeah, well, I don't have the stopwatch tonight since Bubba's not here. So
all right, sounds good. That opening scene, man, that is how you start a movie. I mean, you had the music, you had I love that it rained almost every day in Gotham. Like you felt it. It felt like The Crow. It felt like
good point. But it was like a prelude to that flood.
Right?
Yeah. So it rained every day. Good point.
The movie kicks off on Halloween, just like The Crow. And when they're he's narrating and he's talking about how how can one man save a city this big? I can't be everywhere. And they show the crude version of the bat signal, and you see all these different crimes going on around the city, and then the bat signal lights up, and all the criminals see it, and they start to lose their nerve. And you don't know where he's at. Like they hint, like the one guy that had the mask on that robbed the convenience store and got hit by the car. He's staring into the shadows, thinking for sure Batman's about to walk out to the point where he gets hit by a car, and Batman was never there to begin with.
Yep.
And then it cuts to that scene that you mentioned with the gang trying to terrorize the guy that walked off the subway, and the sound design.
Bubba's chiming in here that Tim Drake. I guess he played in Titans, which I didn't.
Yeah. Yeah, I saw that. He comes walking out of the shadows, and they did this cool thing with his bat suit where it's kind of armored a little bit because he got shot a bunch, and it didn't kill him, but it definitely had an effect. But there was like something metal on his boots that almost sounded like spurs when he walked. And the slow way that he walked out of the shadows, like they took their time with it. You felt the anticipation build, and you're like, they showed some of it in the trailer, but you're like, he's gonna wreck these guys. Like,
Yeah.
you know, and so much of this movie was just based on feeling. And like you said, you know, it brought feelings back just seeing a Batman in theaters and stuff, and it built up things that were perfect. Like the movie didn't rush anything. You felt it all in real time. I was almost on the edge of my seat the whole movie. Like, you know, with them playing up the detective angle, loved it. And they even called it out. You know, they did an Easter egg, and Penguin was making fun of him and Gordon, saying, "What are you guys, world's greatest detectives?" Because that's Batman's nickname. You know, that's what he is. And we got to see him actually play it. And
but everybody starts somewhere, right? And it showed that like they're not the world's greatest detective at this point. They're learning the ropes. So the imperfections were the best part of this movie. Bubba also chimed in again. He said, you know, hate is strong, rebel scum. Well, that's not the worst thing you've called me. You know, whatever. But Bubba, if you're still watching, Craig said, feel better soon. So more well wishes. So,
and like the part where they go to the crime scene after he kills the mayor at the beginning, and all the cops are like weary of him because they don't know him yet. They don't know what he's there for. They just know he's this crazy vigilante that dresses like a bat, and he's, you know, just quiet. And everybody's like, Gordon, why are you bringing him here? You know, and he's not commissioner yet, so he don't have that sway that he could just walk him in there. It was a almost perfect movie for me. Like the way they treated the Batman character, I think, is what I love the most. And if I had any gripes, it would be about
behind it. The mystery behind it was awesome.
Yeah, you know, you didn't know where it was going, and then I watched, I think, 2 trailers, and then they started releasing a bunch of stuff, and I was like, all right, that's enough for me. I don't want to see any more. So I had no idea what the ending was going to be. You know, when they arrested Riddler in the coffee shop, that they showed that at the beginning of most of the trailers, and so that was weird. I was like, wow, they showed, you know, the ending in the trailer, and I figured, you know, they'll arrest him, and then that's that, and then he goes and has that talk with him. And I love the tease. They did it so perfect where when he's talking to Riddler and Riddler starts talking about Bruce Wayne, he thinks he figured out that he's Bruce Wayne, and you think that too. You know, that's the conclusion that you draw, and then eventually he lets up that he doesn't know he's Batman. He just brought him up because.
Right.
But I thought that was going to be the resolution. You know, Riddler just going crazy when Batman says that, you know, we're not partners. He was delusional thinking that. And then the bombs start going off and the place floods. And you see that he had this master plan all along to get everybody into, you know, where the city's safety plan is to go. And he had all these crazy shooters already staged. Like, I love the ending. That's I'm kind of shocked that Bubba said that. Yeah,
he hated that.
I thought it was great. You know, the idea behind it, the thinking was awesome. I love, you know, we even got the Batman smoke pellet at one point, and then when he comes diving out of the cloud of smoke and he's taking all those guys down, then Catwoman comes back and helps, and then he gives him that shot of adrenaline. I thought that was just badass, you know, and he almost beats that guy to death. And then, you know, the guy says, I am vengeance. And then Batman sees, you know, vengeance isn't the answer. Like, that's obviously he is creating problems also, which that's always been a superhero thing that they've touched on with Batman and Joker before in The Dark Knight. You know, Vision brought it up in Civil War. Conflict escalates, and when you have people that are running around looking like crazy superheroes, you're going to have your equals that are trying to test you. So just by you existing, you kind of create that problem. So he saw that there, and then, you know, him diving down into the water, and when he has the flare up in the air and he's guiding people out, like, I thought that was an emotional ending. I thought that was powerful. I loved it. So yeah, I could gush about this movie all night, but I absolutely loved it. I think it's the best Batman movie ever. The only gripe I had was Alfred. I didn't dislike him or anything, but I think he could have been used a little bit better maybe. But even parts of that were great. I love that he was working on the cipher down in the Batcave. You know, it was touching when he was in the hospital and how much, you know, Bruce Batman was trying to race home to save him, and the conversation and everything. So it didn't have very many negatives for me.
No.
I loved it.
Yeah, I agree. And so, again, like we said before we started the topic, that we're, Cable, Bubba, and myself are mainly Marvel guys. Just because they seem to do things right and they keep our interest. However, next week we are going to have a special guest who is a really big DC person. So we're going to bring him in, let him talk about Batman, let him shine some light maybe on DC Universe and open our eyes maybe to a little bit to it. See what he has to say. We're looking forward to having him on. Some more to come on that this week. We'll have some stuff coming out, revealing the guests, but we're super excited about that. Any other final thoughts on Batman before we move on?
Nope. Can't wait to see it again. It comes out next month on HBO Max already, because that's the deal that Warner Brothers has this year. 45 days after theaters, it's on HBO Max. So can't wait to watch it.
Yeah. And these spin-off series that they're going to do too.
Yeah. The same Matt Reeves is involved in all of them. Mm-hmm. And then, if I had to put a button on the conversation, I would say extremely, extremely happy with the last 2 superhero movies I watched in theaters.
Nice. Okay. All right. So moving along just real quick, again, I mentioned a little bit ago that I don't want to hate things. I don't want to go into things and just be like, I'm going to hate this. I'm just going to be closed-minded about it. However,
Gary's not drinking the gate or the haterade. Oh, no. I messed up the line.
Yeah, whatever. They get it. However, I do have SmackDown on my TV over here. I'm slightly glancing at it while I'm listening and doing this podcast. I see Pat McAfee with Austin Theory or whatever. They're doing that whole thing. I see he has a match. I don't know. I'm assuming you guys talked about this on one of the other 2 podcasts when I wasn't here about the interview with Pat McAfee and Vince McMahon.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we talked about it last week. I still have yet to watch it. I've seen clips of it, but I haven't watched the whole thing.
Okay, I listened to it. I downloaded it and listened to it on the plane. Again, I don't want to hate WWE. I don't want to dislike the product. So, I figured it'd be a good interview. Pat McAfee does a very good interview, very good podcast.
Yep.
However, he does a lot of ass kissing. I'm going to be very honest. His nose is so brown from Vince McMahon's pooper. It is unreal. I'm sorry. I know, I think Bubba was over the moon about the interview. I don't want to hate things. I don't want to crap all over things, but a lot of the stuff Vince McMahon said, is a matter of opinion and a point of view.
Or straight up bullshit.
And I just don't feed into it. If you're believing the shit that he's saying that come out of his mouth and you're to talk you into this being a good product, it just blows my mind. AEW is killing it right now. They're putting on the best matches for a wrestling fan. It is a wet dream, right? The stuff that they're pumping out with WWE completely does not interest me whatsoever. Which kills me. I say this all the time. It kills me not to be into WWE.
Yeah,
it literally breaks my heart. I've stood by that brand and them through so much. Even the John Cena stuff that they forced down our throat. It kills me the fact that I'm a casual fan again. Right? You only tune in once in a while. Most of the people that I criticized way back when, right? Because they didn't watch it. A lot of people dipped out around the John Cena, Batista era, those kind of things. But they still had The Undertaker. They still had Austin and Rock come and go. And Triple H. They still had good matches. They still had a really good undercard, right? It's just, I am so far removed from it. It just breaks my heart. Anyway, trying to get to the point here. I'm excited to see The Undertaker get inducted to the Hall of Fame. I think it makes sense to do that, of the Vince to do that. I really do.
Yeah.
Probably the only reason why I'm semi-interested in WrestleMania at all is to see that. Because, you've been seeing a little bit more lately, but you don't see The Undertaker break character that much. I want to see if The Undertaker gets emotional. I want to see if, I want to see Mark Calloway here, what he's going to say and stuff like that. So for that, I do want to see the Hall of Fame. I'm curious to see. I'm on the fence about actually watching Mania. I don't know. We'll see what happens. I might do it for the podcast. You know what I mean? So we have something to talk about. We can break it down, that kind of thing. But it just breaks my heart. It really does. And I understand a business is a business. You have to make tough decisions. You have to let people go, this and that. But the people that they're keeping is what's baffling me. Anyway, it is what it is. What I'm leading into is AEW is knocking it out of the park. I'll give you one example. We saw a MJF and we saw Punk match at Revolution. That feud started in November, right? We're now in March and it just started. Like, I don't even know if it's over. Maybe. I think we're going to start to see Wardlow and we're going to start to see, that feud with MJF a little bit, but I'm not sure that it's over. But that is wrestling. That is storytelling. That is building stars. Punk is single-handedly helping MJF get over and inadvertently hoping Wardlow get over with that storyline. So it's affecting a lot of things, and they are really telling a really good story. Not to mention the acquisition of ROH too, which I'm sure we'll get into. We are at time, but again, no timer tonight since Bubba's not here. I'm gonna save that for him. Anyway, go ahead. Your thoughts on any of that?
Well, I got a lot of thoughts on a lot of it. Yeah. WWE is, it's very bad. And I can't believe I'm saying this, but I don't know which is worse at this point. WWE main brand or NXT. They're both awful. They both have certain highlights, at least for me. Like, I think, at least in North America, Sasha Banks is the best woman wrestler out there.
Interesting.
Yeah, I'm in the minority, with at least for the show. I know that, but I think she's great. I think she has I would love to see her go to AEW. I think her style matches AEW, and not even in a way where a lot of the female wrestlers in AEW could keep up with her. I think she is technically sound. She does suicide dives and this and that. She just mixes it up. She's one of those people that can go with anybody. But so I like her. I like a few things here and there. I still respect that they have the title on Roman. I love that they did that because he's like the fourth longest, reigning champ.
I like the bloodline thing. I just think they did it too late. They did it way too
late.
Oh,
definitely. So it's not like I 100% hate everything on it, but in general, it's a bad product. And I'll watch WrestleMania because it's WrestleMania, and there might be a match here or there I'm excited for. But in a nutshell, a perfect thing that you touched on that just shows how far apart these two companies are. The Punk MJF feud that's been going on. Like you said, it kicked off in November. Here we are in March, and it may or may not be done. WWE will do a storyline like that, and they will give you the exact same match week after week after week. Like nothing changes. They're just repeating. There's a YouTube channel called What Culture, and they have a wrestling part of the channel, and they literally counted how many weeks in a row Raw did the exact same matches. And it was like a month or two that you saw the same match, maybe a stipulation changed, but more or less it was just a rematch for no reason.
That's their storytelling, though. They think that's telling a story.
MJF
and Punk didn't even barely touched for the longest time, right? Like that's not telling a story, showing me the same thing match after match. Telling a good story, you don't even need to have to touch sometimes. It's just like I don't know.
And that's the way they used to do it.
Yeah,
I mean, you look at the Austin McMahon feud.
Yep.
That went on for years. How many matches did they actually have? A couple, 3 or 4, whatever. But they found interesting ways to keep that story fresh.
Yep.
Until eventually they turned Austin heel and ruined it all. But
they tied in like Dude Love. They tied in Rock in a lot of ways. Like there's a lot of things. Even the ministry, like the dark ministry, like the corporate
ministry of darkness, and then the corporation, corporate ministry, all that.
So there was other ways that they were building a story, a slow build up to WrestleMania to make it interesting. I don't know what they're doing now. And the thing of it is, it drives me nuts. And I know they're making more money than they have ever have. But they're content with making that money. They're not focusing on what fans want, fans need, and they're just throwing the shit out there. They're literally flying by the seat of their pants week by week.
It's like Vince McMahon and I can't think of his first name now, but Nutting are like
Bob Nutting,
best friends or something. Bob, yeah. Like it's like they're cut from the same cloth now all of a sudden, you know. But in the thing that is so weird about WWE, almost to a T, as soon as they get a good thing going, they ruin it.
Yep.
like the Hurt Business. I love the Hurt Business. I thought that was a great group. I liked Bobby Lashley as champ. And, you know, he was champ recently, but they split that group up for no reason. You know, it's baffling how poorly that company is run. And, you know, kudos to AEW. Thank God they're there. Thank God they're an option.
Dude, I would be so miserable if I didn't have AEW.
Right.
You know what I mean, I feel like I didn't have an option.
Yeah.
You know,
so
did you guys touch base on Ring of Honor at all? I'm assuming you did.
Yes, we did. And I was just going to direct the conversation there also because, you know, we alluded to it last week. You know, Bubba, he caught on to it at some point, I think after you told him about it for a while, or I can't remember, but I remember the days of you and me finding it and just, I was ordering DVD after DVD after DVD, you know?
Yep.
And so, yeah, I'm interested on your thoughts because you and me had to go ways back with ROH.
I think ROH has struggled for a long time. You know, they lost their main core guys. A lot of them went to WWE. Now they're at AEW. I think it makes sense. Tony Khan has been collecting these contracts and collecting these wrestlers for over a year now, right? I still think they have too many damn wrestlers, even for two ROH and AEW. But you know, it makes a little bit more sense now what's going on here, right? But Ring of Honor struggled for a long time. I think their talent has been watered down. There's still a handful of really good talent, and I hope they keep. But I think it's in good hands. If Tony can do what he's done with AEW, I think it's fine. I tell you what, I don't want them to go into. I don't want them to go into the Ring of Honor versus AEW wars. Right? I don't want to see that. Don't give me that. Give me a partnership where the guys from AEW can go work Ring of Honor, vice versa. Give these guys a place to work, whether it's one or the other. If they're not on Dynamite or they're not on Rampage, let them go work a show at Ring of Honor. Right? I'd also like to see them get Ring of Honor TV. You know, and I'd like to see them work with New Japan more.
Yeah,
honestly, because it gives that a different dynamic. You're getting that more hardcore fan, and they want to see guys from New Japan. I want to see guys from New Japan.
And you know, it's kind of like a chicken and the egg type thing. I think what really spelled doom for Ring of Honor after a certain point was they were never able to secure a good TV deal. Which that is where these wrestling companies make most of their money.
And they had Jim Cornette for the longest time. So
I want to know his reaction. I wanted to look that up and I forgot about it.
He has a podcast, I'm sure. I think Bubba listens to it. I'm sure. The only one I listened to Jim Cornette podcast was the one with FTR, the first time when they got released by WWE. So I wanted to listen because I love those guys, right? So I wanted to hear what they had to say. So I did listen to it. I'm shocked that Bubba actually likes that podcast because it's very liberal. Jim Cornette, I didn't know this and I wouldn't expect this. I would expect him to be the most right-wing person on the face of the earth, especially from where he's from. However, he is not, and he bashes a lot of right-wing politics. So I'm surprised Bubba even listens to it. But I'm sure he had a comment or two on.
I'm sure, but that hurt them because that's where these wrestling companies make a lot of their money is through the TV deals.
Yep,
that's like a steady flow of cash coming in. And had they been able to offer better contracts, maybe a lot of these guys don't leave and go elsewhere.
Yeah.
So I think it was a domino effect. But the talent getting poached away and everything hurt them really bad. They never recovered. So I love the move. I think it's a great move. I think it needs to be its own thing. take some of the AEW roster, slap it in there, whoever, because he purchased it, but nobody's under contract to Ring of Honor. So
they
deal.
They let all those guys go, but like he already has Brody King, right? He has Denhausen, which that's gonna that guy's freaking funny. I don't know if you much about him, but he's gonna be awesome.
Good.
Who they really need is Dalton Castle.
I'd like to see him be put on a pedestal. Yes. And I can't think of his name. He was their champ at the end, Gresham. He wears the octopus mask. He's good. I mean, they did have, a few diamonds in the rough there. The Briscoes, they're a stalwart at this point,
Yeah, they're a staple, and I'd like to see them go against like FTR and stuff.
Yeah.
You had Delirious there still. He was
really?
There. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Was he a trainer now, or is he still active wrestler?
I think he was doing both.
Okay.
But I'm not 100%. Okay. But Jay Lethal, they already kind of got.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think who else is on there that we remember from back then.
I mean, most of them, because the Young Bucks were huge in Ring of Honor. Adam Cole was huge in Ring of Honor.
So was Cody. So was
Red Dragon.
Yes. Yeah. Exactly.
So a lot of the people there.
Silas Young was a good guy there. He was he was that was a good gimmick.
Yeah.
They had some good talent.
Who I really, really like, I believe, because they still have reigning champions, even though nobody's under contract and there's no active wrestling. They still have people carrying these belts representing the promotion. Deonna Purrazzo, their women's champ, she's awesome. She's great. So I would like to see them do something with her, but I like the acquisition. I would like to see them get TV also. I think with Ring of Honor now, I think you need to make Rampage 2 hours and then have Ring of Honor an hour somewhere. And I don't know how you're able to do all this, because you don't want to. Why go up against WWE if you don't have to? Even if you're going to win, you're still going to divide your audience to some degree. Yeah. So, you got Raw on Monday, NXT on Tuesday, SmackDown on Friday. Saturdays, you could do Saturdays, but that's typically when they do their pay-per-views, which you missed last week. I didn't know until we were on air that Revolution was on Sunday. And I wasn't real happy about that.
And you guys switched it, right? You switched the day because you thought it was Saturday.
Yeah, we were originally going to do it. Yeah, Saturday night, so we did a Friday night because Tony Khan, a year ago, 2021 Revolution, when they had the sparklers heard around the world at the end of the barbed wire match, Tony Khan made a promise to the AEW fans that they would never do another pay-per-view on a work night, essentially. Because that show ran until almost midnight. And he said the only time we'll do Sunday is if it's before a holiday when people don't have to work. So that shocked me, because I just like to watch it on a Saturday better. I don't,
I agree.
So I was surprised by that, but you can't do it on Saturday technically, because that's when you usually have your shows. So I don't know, they got stuff to figure out, but the options are there. You got more than enough people. Move some. I would like down the line, I'm talking maybe 2 years from now, if this is still viable and still going, I wouldn't mind Ring of Honor trying to do some kind of invasion storyline, if it truly has the feel of them being two separate things and guys aren't moving back and forth all the time. But I don't know how they're going to do it.
I want them to move back and forth. I want them all to have a place to work. I want both of them to be really good shows. I was thinking too, everything going down with Cody. I don't know if we've really talked much about that. I think before I snuck it in a little bit, but maybe Cody's going there to kind of be the face of Ring of Honor again.
I saw something about that. I did see that.
Did you? But I didn't see
nothing. I didn't read it. I just saw a headline, but nothing's concrete. Nobody knows what's going on.
Yeah.
The last I saw, there was a YouTube video an hour or a few hours ago from a reputable wrestling news site that said Cody and WWE's deal is being hammered out. So I have no idea. But why? I think it's
I hope he doesn't go back to what? Why? Why would you? Whatever.
The only thing I can think is because it's retribution in some way, shape, or form about how badly it ended with WWE, that he can say they wanted me. They wanted to bring me in. Like, he went and made a star out of himself. There's a very real chance he's trolling everybody. He does stuff like that.
I hope it's a work. I really do.
I do too. I do too. But one final thing, a thought that I have about the whole Ring of Honor thing, which I would love. There's been rumors forever about it. AEW finding a home on a streaming app somewhere.
Yeah.
They would have the entire Ring of Honor library now that they could put on there.
Yep.
I think that would be a great thing. I don't think they're at a point where they could have their own, like the WWE network. But a lot of people have been saying HBO Max for one reason or another. I don't know why, but whatever it is, if you got the AEW tape library and the Ring of Honor tape library and possibly live events on it, sign me up.
Yeah. Well, the thing of it is, I'd also like to have them keep like the Code of Honor. I'd like to, keep those titles. You know what I mean? That kind of thing. Keep it a feel for Ring of Honor, right?
Yeah, that's why I don't know if you could do that if you don't keep them separate. But I don't know. We'll just have to see how it plays out.
I look at it as, it's owned by the same person, but keep them a separate thing, but let all the guys work. You know what I mean? You don't know if you're going to see Jay White appear on Ring of Honor, or if you're going to see him appear on Dynamite or a Revolution or whatever. Like, let it have that mystique to it a little bit, and let these guys work both. Even if it has to do with Impact and New Japan, whatever, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't need to see an invasion and all that crap. Let it just happen naturally. Bubba's claiming that, or at least the Triple B Experience is claiming that ROH on TBS on Saturday nights at 6:05. So
That'd be cool.
I don't know if that's breaking news or if he's, maybe he knows something.
Fantasy scheduling. Yeah.
Yeah.
I would like that.
He's good about being on social media. I don't enjoy it so much. So maybe he knows something that we don't. I don't know. Yeah.
Anything could be happening while we're doing this show.
See, Bubba, breaking news even when he's not here. So
that's right.
Right.
Breaking hearts and breaking news.
And busting ass, too, at the same time.
Maybe stretching.
And stretching. No, just my opinion. Oh, okay. So he's just saying Saturdays at 6:05.
Yeah, I think NWA does that right now. I know at one point they were doing the old 6:05 gimmick that used to be on TBS.
Okay.
But they went to Tuesday at one point. I don't know which night they're on now. And it started off as a YouTube, and now I think it's on the Fight TV app. But NWA does this, like that old school 6:05 gimmick.
Okay. Yeah.
So that'd be cool. I'd be all right with that.
Yeah, let's, it gives you an extra 5 minutes to, take a piss or stretch.
Yeah.
Whatever. Go to the bathroom. I don't know. I have no idea. But anyway, yeah, sure. That'd be cool. Any TV that they could get would be good. Anyway, moving along, I think one last thing in cable, I'm going to draw attention to what you did recently with the Cables Cuts. You did a reaction video to the trailer of Obi Wan Kenobi. I will admit, most of the time, whenever you do a reaction, I wait until you do the reaction to watch it, and I watch it with you and react with you. However, I did not get to watch your video yet. And when you text me that text us that it dropped the other day, since it was Star Wars, I had to go and watch it.
Right, it was like record time.
Yeah.
I sent that out, and the next thing I saw was, holy shit. Yeah. That's all I'm going to say, or whatever your text was.
Yeah, so I was, and full disclosure, I was at work. Naturally, I dropped whatever I was doing. I may or may not have been in a meeting. I don't know. But anyway, off camera, on mute, whatever. I played it. And I watched it, and I want to know what your thoughts were. I didn't see the video. I plan on going to watch it. But what was your initial reaction? Did you understand what was going on? What fill me in here.
I'm only going to tell you if you promise to watch it, because I got to get the view count up.
I usually do. Yeah.
I know.
I usually do watch it. So.
I liked it a lot, and it's this weird thing where it showed a lot, but it didn't show a lot at the same time.
What they showed was really cool.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
And I did a trailer reaction to the Book of Boba Fett, or I recorded one at least, and I ended up not even editing it and putting it out there because I didn't have much to say when it was over. Like, it looked cool. and that was it, kind of thing. This one, I had a lot of, maybe not a lot, but I had a bunch of thoughts on it. First of all, would be how great it is to see Ewan McGregor back in the role.
Yeah, for sure.
He's one of the highlights of the prequels for me. I love him as Obi Wan Kenobi. I like the storyline that he's being hunted.
Yes.
And now, I said it in the video, I say it every time we bring up Star Wars. I don't know the Star Wars lore as much as you or Bubba even. Like, I'm the least knowledgeable on Star Wars. The Grand Inquisitor, have we seen him on anything before?
He was in Rebels, and there's the Grand Inquisitor, and then there's other Inquisitors too. So there's like some brothers and sisters involved in there. There's a couple of them, but basically their role was to track down any remaining Jedi after Order 66.
How do you like his look then? Since you know of him, did they do good? Were they faithful?
I was fine with it. I don't know what people were saying online. I really don't.
I haven't seen anything.
From what I've seen, from what I remember from Rebels, he was a little bit skinnier in face, but I like the way he looked. I thought he looked pretty good, and I was excited to see him, and that's part of the reason why I said, "Holy shit!"
Okay,
because I wasn't expecting that. That just was. They weren't characters I thought would ever pop up in live action movies. Or TV. So I was shocked,
That was one of my thoughts going into the trailer was, what could the story even be? Because I knew when it takes place, and I know Anakin or Vader is going to be in it potentially. Hayden Christensen, I believe, has been confirmed. So I figured it would have a little bit more fallout from those two, but I didn't really know what this whole show is going to be about. And then, there you have it. He's being hunted. And they're trying to track down the remaining Jedi. I like that we saw clips that weren't from Tatooine.
Which I didn't expect, which makes you wonder where he's going and why he's going there. Right? Yeah,
because the way A New Hope starts out and everything, you would think that after he arrived in Tatooine, he never left again. So it's intriguing, which is what good Star Wars is. You see a trailer and there's something more about Star Wars for me, at least maybe, than say like a Marvel movie where I'm more intrigued. Like they leave, there's so many questions, and you want to see where this is going and stuff. But I thought the trailer was great. I thought everybody looked good, and I liked the voiceover from the Grand Inquisitor where he was talking about hunting Jedi, and you could hear him kind of get more angry as he was talking. Like he truly believes what he's doing. He's not just doing it because, I don't know if they work for the Empire or however that is set up, but
I'm thinking here, and this is speculation just from what I saw in the trailer, that they are working for the Empire, working with Darth Vader.
Okay.
And in that scene that you're talking about where he does the voiceover, where he's explaining the Jedi can't help who they are, this and that, they're all around that table. There was one chair that's not being attended to. Right?
Didn't even notice that.
Well, if you go back and look, it matches the shape of Darth Vader's tower.
Egg. Egg thing.
No, it's his tower.
Okay.
Mustafar, like it's his tower. It matches that. So I'm thinking Vader is a part of that council, that table, whatever that scene was. That's just speculation. It also, I think, one of his ships might. It's not the TIE fighter, but it's one of his ships might also match that as well.
Okay.
So I'm thinking they are working with them. And now Bubba put in here, if Vader sends Black Chrysanthemum to go after Kenobi in this series, that would be kick-ass. That was a storyline. I believe it was in the comics, and Kenobi actually saved Chrysanthemum from saved Luke from him.
Okay.
So that was a thing. I don't know whether they'll do that or not, but that it could happen. Also, you mentioned Kenobi about not being on Tatooine. Maybe he's going to check on Leia. I don't know, which brings a whole nother dynamic to this. I'm not sure why he left, but things could really get interesting. also Darth Maul. They could do something with Darth Maul. You know what I mean? Like there's so many aspects that they could bring in here. But I was not expecting to see the.
And from what we've seen in the Mandalorian and the Book of Boba Fett, they are not shy about bringing new characters that are fan favorites into live action for the first time.
Right.
The amount of characters we've got that people were so excited for, you really feel like they'll do anything at this point and pull it off, too. So maybe it's fan service, but I don't think there's anything wrong with that. You just do it well, you put a good story around it. And so
if it moves stories forward, then do it. There's no reason not to. So.
Now, there was something I want to ask about the trailer. Towards the back half of the trailer, there's a scene where it cuts real quick. Obi-Wan's like taking cover from blaster bolts or whatever. And then it looks almost like a chimney type thing explodes and these things fly out of it. From my memory, those reminded me of the things that he was flying around on. And I believe it was Attack of the Clones. Does that ring a bell at all?
I don't even remember the clip. I'm trying to think.
It was really quick, and I could just be mixing all this stuff together. Or maybe it wasn't Attack of the Clones. I think it was Revenge of the Sith, where he fights General Grievous or whatever. And wasn't he on like a flying creature somewhere around there?
Oh man, I'm drawing a blank. But you saw it in the trailer?
Yeah, there was this quick scene where a bunch of like creatures flew up out of this.
Oh, they were like green birds or something.
Yeah. Well, didn't he ride something similar to that in one of the movies?
I don't remember seeing those before, to be honest with you.
Or am I mixing up Avatar and Star Wars?
Yeah, no. I think I know what you're saying, but those birds I think might have been in an animated series at one time, like once. But I'm not sure if that's what they are or not.
Yeah, because he rode some kind of bike type thing when he was fighting Grievous, didn't he?
I think so. Yeah.
Well, hey, like I said, I'm not a Star Wars.
I love Star Wars, but I can't keep up with everything.
Yeah.
Either. So it's just one of those things. But
I have limited space up here, so I can't keep it all.
Then what was interesting was the hanging feet.
Scene. Yeah.
I think somebody hanging himself would be too dark for Star Wars, or like somebody hanging. So I don't know if that's like a force choke thing or what that was. I know it had Uncle Ben in the scene, and then see these feet. I don't know what was going on there, but
it was great to see they actually brought Joel Edgerton back, the guy who played Uncle in the prequel movies. He was in a couple of them. Because he's a big actor at this point. Like those were some of his earlier roles, and they were small roles. And I love that they got him to come back for we don't know, maybe a cameo, maybe more. But the attention to detail, it's fantastic.
Yeah, by all means. But who wouldn't want to come back and play in Star Wars?
True. Yeah.
I mean, for me, it wouldn't get much bigger than that. But
yeah,
who knows? Bubba is correcting us once again. Chiming in, but from afar. No, he was on a wingless creature when fighting Grievous. Okay.
Oh yeah, it was like a lizard. It was a big lizard type thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think I am thinking of Avatar, which is sad.
Shane chimed in. I'm assuming he's talking about the Grand Inquisitor was the yellow eyes. So yeah, he did have yellow eyes in Rebels, but I don't think he had them in this. I'm assuming that's what he's alluding to. Let's see. Yeah, go ahead.
Who was the guy in? What was the one before? Oh yeah, it was Rebels. Who was the guy in Rebels that had the red lightsaber that had like a half circle, like the thing around the hand?
That was Grand Inquisitor. They
have
the round ones.
Okay.
Yeah, they're really cool. They're double-edged lightsaber, but it's a circle.
Okay.
But all of them have it.
Was he blue on Rebels? His skin color?
He was white.
Was he? Oh, okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, he was white.
I keep thinking of this guy from Rebels. I didn't watch Rebels either, but I remember thinking that seems like a cool character. That I thought he had like blue skin.
The guy with blue that you're talking about, I think, is Zeb.
Was he a main bad guy?
He was a main good guy.
Oh no.
He was part of the main squad.
Okay. Well, the more I talk, the more nerd credit I lose. So I'll start looking some of the stuff up off camera.
You might be thinking of somebody else, but again, maybe you're thinking about Tron. Maybe you're not thinking about Admiral Tron, are you?
Could be.
Blue. He's blue.
That's probably who it is then.
But yeah, we are going to see him. We're going to end up seeing him.
Okay.
For sure. And then there was, I think it was, Obi Giles, I think was blue too. In that series. Trying to think, there was, I don't know, it's Star Wars. Like everybody's like any like species that isn't humans is like green, blue, or purple.
And the names.
Yeah.
I sound like, yeah, I remember this is what it was like when I was a kid listening to my parents. I can't learn these names. I can't.
Exactly. That's why I love Star Wars. I love feeling like I'm in a galaxy far, far away. Again, obviously I love going to Galaxy's Edge for that, but I used to try to read the books. But then I felt really stupid because half the planets and creatures and if they weren't characters I didn't know, it was like, how do you even pronounce this? So it's like, and I tried reading Lord of the Rings, same thing. Game of Thrones, forget it. Like, whatever.
Yeah.
But no, there's so much to keep track of. But anyway, what I was getting at is, did that trailer get you pumped for the series? Yeah.
Absolutely.
Kind of being a casual Star Wars fan. I thought it did. I thought it was great.
Yeah. Like I said, the Book of Boba Fett didn't do much for me, the trailer. So, it's not every trailer isn't going to get me excited, but this one did. The Ewan McGregor, the Grand Inquisitor, and the tease of Vader's breathing during the logo, the title screen at the end were enough for me.
We are going to have to see Vader without the mask in this, right? Because why else, you could just do like they did in a Star Wars Story, right? And just have him be that badass Vader with the mask. Like, yeah, you're going to need to see him without his mask.
Yeah, I think you're referencing because they brought the actor back.
Yep.
Yeah, the only thing I could think is maybe if they do flashbacks, because I personally don't really want to see him without the helmet. Like, I like the idea, and maybe when I see it, I'll like it at that time. But for now, I like the idea of at the end of Revenge of the Sith, once that helmet gets put on, it almost never leaves. But then we know from the Empire that he took the helmet off when he was in that egg thing that I was talking about a little bit ago. You got the tease from the back of his head, so I guess that is canon that he didn't wear the mask or the helmet 24/7. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see. It's nice to have these questions and be excited about finding out the answers.
Yeah.
So I think that all in all, the trailer did what it was supposed to do.
Right. Exactly. But if you're gonna bring a Hayden Christensen back, you have to, right? Like, you have to.
Yeah.
It'll be interesting. Yeah. But anything else Star Wars related?
Do you want to show your lightsaber before we leave?
I do have it over there. Do you want me to whip it out?
I think you should whip it out. I think you should whip it out on the internet for everybody to see, Gary.
Okay. Also, give me 1 second.
You guys are in for a treat here.
Sorry, I didn't hear you. What'd you say?
Oh, I told the viewing audience that they were in for a treat.
Oh, well, it might not be as exciting to some people as me, but there is a video behind this of me making this that my wife filmed while we were doing it at Savvy's workshop.
Awesome video. I saw it. I can attest to that.
It's a really cool experience. If you ever get a chance to go to Galaxy's Edge and Disney World, but in particular Galaxy's Edge, it is such a cool experience, right? And to do this, I did a droid last time. I made an R2 droid, and then I'm like, I got to do a lightsaber. It's not the cheapest thing in the world to do, but I did do it. So here it is. I went with the elemental nature lightsaber. Now, keep in mind, these aren't necessarily legacy lightsabers like that you would see with Luke in them, but they do have a protection and defense. They have this elemental nature. They have, obviously, power and control, which is a really cool one, very tempting. And then I'm drawing a blank on the fourth one. But I decided to go with this because I thought it was most like me, because it had like straps here, and this piece up here is like a wooden piece. It is metal, but it's meant to be like a wooden style. So I'm like, that is most, kind of like me. I do woodworking and stuff like that. So I felt like this rustic kind of style.
And you're a strapping young lad.
Well, thank
brings
you.
The straps around full circle.
Yeah, see? But here it is. That's it. I don't know if you could hear it, but it does make sounds.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. Careful you don't cut your microphone in half.
Exactly. I was hoping that the actual lightsabers, they're calling the real lightsabers, were going to be out. I heard that when they did the Star Cruiser, which opened up while I was there with the first cruise, opened up, and I was hoping that they would have the real lightsaber, the one where the blade comes out. Right.
I didn't even. I was going to ask you what that is. I didn't.
So
never heard of it.
It's a blade. It has LED, and it's like a plastic, but it's meant to like take a little bit of abuse. Like you wouldn't go like full fledged with this or anything. But they did make one. They haven't put it out for sale, but the blade actually is in here, which I'm assuming the handle's longer, which would drive me nuts. But how badass would it be to turn this thing on and the blade comes out and it looks so good. So,
well, I liked in your video when you put the handle into the slot, essentially.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
And, it didn't have a blade when it went in. And then when you guys pulled it out, they had the blades attached.
Right.
That's a hell of an operation they have there. Like they really.
Yeah. And it's like total cosplay. Like they play into it like, but yeah, so just give me 1 second here. Like I said, we're way over time, but people could drop off at any point. Just give me 1 second. I want to do something. Entertain them. Sing them a song or something, Cable. I don't.
Well, when you went to get your lightsaber, I was going to try and hum a Jedi theme, but the only Star Wars theme I know is the Imperial March. So.
Yeah, that works too, I guess. It depends who you ask.
Well, while I have the floor, then I'm going to talk about something that you mentioned I didn't talk about in that Vince McMahon interview. Have you ever heard anything more bullshit than him just straight up saying, we listen to the fans, we take into account what the fans want, and whatever else he said about that? I could not believe he tried to pass that off.
And the sad thing is, some people believe him.
Yeah, you got those hardcore fans that, won't ever I won't say turn their back, but they'll never say a negative word about the WWE. And like you said, we don't hate on purpose. It's just, it's not a good product. But yeah,
I'm not even looking for fan service. Just give me some decent wrestling, some decent storytelling, those kind of things.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
So you can change out the Kyber crystal. So this is my green Kyber crystal, right? So, you actually get to pick a color that comes with the lightsaber, but you can buy additionals. So I went with green for the reasons why I said earlier, but I also did purchase blue, and they come in these cool little cases, and and red as well. I purchased red naturally. And what's cool about red, they release a handful of the black Kyber crystal a day. And what people were doing were they were shining their flashlight into them, trying to find the black ones, because in any of these other ones you can see through. But then they got smart and they put this black inner piece in the middle in here, so you don't know if it's black or red.
Okay.
However, if you get a black Kyber crystal, it's still going to show up red, but the sound is different.
Oh, okay.
So each one of these make a different color and a different sound.
Oh, wow.
So it's really cool. I'm ecstatic that I got this. I am going to they do make displays, so I'm going to get a display and hang it on my wall at some point. I'm also really tempted to get another one at some point. Like I said, they're not cheap. But again, we are fortunate enough to go. We're going back in September.
Wow.
Because our last couple of trips got canceled. So we went for an extended period of time this time. And then next time we're going for like a 4-day, like a long weekend.
Mm-hmm.
And it happens to be on my birthday is when we
there
leave.
You go.
And Dylan's birthday is the day before mine, oddly enough. So we're going to go there and celebrate in September. And I'm tempted to do it again. I don't know. We'll see. I'm one of those people is like, if I don't use it regularly, I just don't buy it. Like I love the idea of action figures and stuff like that. Like I would love to have all those back there, but at this point anymore, I'm just like, if I'm not using it every day, I'm not buying it. Like, but am I going to use this every day? No. But I absolutely love it. It's one of my prized possessions and I am tempted to do another one, but
they don't have the double ended lightsaber yet, right?
You can buy legacy lightsabers. So like you don't build it. You don't get to go in and build it in Savvy's, but you can wait in this big long ass line outside of Savvy's workshop. And because when I was there, I was just going in to buy some of these and it's the only place you can get them. And I'm standing in the line and then I see a cast member holding a sign that says line for legacy lightsabers. And I'm like, do I have to stand in this line if I'm not getting a legacy lightsaber? I just want kyber crystals. And he said, no, go ahead in. I'm like, okay. But the line for the legacy lightsabers is crazy, but they are so cool looking. Like you get Luke's, you can get Ahsoka's, which Ahsoka's looks awesome. Rey's. I don't know if they have Yoda's or not. Yoda's would be smaller.
Yeah.
I didn't get a good look of them because there's a line out the wazoo. Mm-hmm. So, but very, very cool experience. I had to build one, obviously. Maybe I'll look into a legacy one or something. I don't know. Or maybe I'll just go build another one and I don't know. I have no idea. But I love it. It's really cool. I'm ecstatic that I did it. And thanks for asking and caring.
Oh, absolutely.
For one. So.
Yeah, that thing is awesome. Since you brought up my collection, you made me think of it. One thing you missed while you were away, the first night or the first week, the dreaded day finally happened. I had a semi-avalanche behind me.
Oh.
And I was getting hit in the head with action figures. Like every minute or two, another action figure would fall on me. So, you missed out on that.
During the video? Like during the live?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, like in the second hour.
Oh, well. I didn't make it that far. Maybe
most people didn't.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say. Most people aren't right now either. But anyway, no, great experience. Sucks to be back in a lot of way. Like you could drop me off at Galaxy's Edge. Actually, I was offered a job in the video, so
yeah.
I do plan on when I have time, a free minute, I'm gonna upload the video. I'm gonna edit it a little bit, upload the video for anybody that's interested in seeing it and seeing how the process with Savvy's, is. Shane said green. I guess I would have picked green too. Yeah, I mean, how could you not? In a lot of ways, but no, yeah, great. I'm grateful to have done it and go there and go again. So, yeah, but I'm also grateful to be back and hanging out with you, and hopefully we get Bubba back next week. Bubs, if you've made it this long. we hope you feel better, man. In all seriousness, we crack jokes, but no, we're thinking of you. Let us know if you need anything. I will be up that way this weekend at some point. My mom lives up that way. It's my niece and nephew's birthday party, so we will be up there at some point this week. So, Bubs, if you need anything, please let me know.
Not tomorrow, right? We're supposed to get Snowmageddon.
Yeah, well, got to bunker down and get ready for that. Dude, I left 90-degree weather and I come back and it snowed the next day and it was so disappointing. Disappointing. I hated every second of it. And I just don't enjoy the cold this year.
Yeah.
I've really struggled with it. So it was like a tease and I'm so ready for spring. So
we're almost there.
Yeah, we're getting there. It'll be the first week of the trial season. It'll be snowing like every year. Just make me even more mad. So But yeah, anyway, Cable, I guess we should wrap this up. We went an hour and a half, only 45 minutes over, but
No, that sounds good. I got out everything I wanted to get out. The Batman was the big happenings this week, and
that was almost. I think we went 44 minutes on just Batman alone. So
I think so. And I could have went longer, honestly. I just am in love with that movie, and it was amazing.
Yeah.
But
next week we have that guest, special guest. We'll reveal it this week. Once we get everything locked down and time set and all that good stuff. But they're going to come on and maybe hopefully lighten our eyes to the DC universe and what they have to offer, and maybe what's coming too. And, there's a connection to professional wrestling there too. So maybe we'll talk wrestling with them as well. Excited for that. Excited to get Bubba back. So that's our show for this week. Again, Bubba, we feel for you. We hope you feel better. We love you. Just hang in there. If you have to, put on a diaper. It'll be okay. But
hopefully nothing happens to me next week, and we'll get all three of us back on a screen together again.
Yeah, it's been 3 weeks. Kind of weird. Very strange.
Counting down the days till Moon Knight. That's all I got going for me in my life right now. So
yeah, I was just thinking this. I miss getting up at the ass crack of dawn to watch
TV.
Yeah, watch TV. Whether it was Boba Fett or Peacemaker. Sucks. So can't wait for Moon Knight. When is the release date on that again?
30th.
The 30th of March.
Yep, it's last Wednesday of March. Which of course we had to have 5 Wednesdays this month. So.
Jeez, man. So this, and then May is March, April after May, or after March, and then May. So we got about a month and a half later, we'll get Kenobi. Almost 2 months later, with Kenobi. So
yeah, we got Moon Knight in March, Morbius in April.
Oh right, yeah.
Doctor
Which I do want to see, by the way. I know everybody's like shitting all over it, but I kind of do want to see it. I think it's intriguing. I don't know anything about that character, but
I hate to be the negative person, but I've made my opinion known on that. It just doesn't interest me. I don't know the character, like the back of my hand, but what I know of them, I don't see any reason for there to be a movie, and I'll go into it open-minded enough, I guess. But like Batman, I didn't expect to walk out of that saying the best Batman movie ever. So and then we got Doctor Strange at the beginning of May, Kenobi at the end of May, Miss Marvel in June, Thor in July, as long as that doesn't get moved. Black Adam was supposed to be July, but that got pushed to October. So a lot of stuff this year, a lot of good stuff to look forward to. We have a good year already so far with Peacemaker and Batman.
Yep.
So hopefully we keep it rolling.
Yeah, absolutely. We're always going to have something to talk about. That's for sure.
We got shit to say.
That's right. We got shit to say. But we're out of shit to say for tonight. We are going to sign out. We will see you, hopefully all of us, again next week. Thanks for watching if you have tuned in for this long. I am going to roll the ending credits, and we're going to peace out. Later, guys.
Good night.